After a week off, we're back here with the Bulldog Blitz. I'm Gerhard Mathagani, joined in by the head coach of the Anniston Bulldogs, Eddie Bullock. First off, Coach, a huge win last week over Springville. 22-3 was the final score. First road win of the season as well. Talk about just, this everything that has gone on to what this team has accomplished in getting two back-to-back wins.
We had to have a win last week, and, we had 2 weeks off, and we were able to get some people healthy. And, we went down there, had the right mental focus, had a nice game plan together, and we were able to put together a win. And, we needed it, in order to stay in contention for making the playoffs. And we went down and got the goal accomplished.
You guys had a unique situation where you had 2 weeks to prepare for this game, and you really had just 2 weeks to either prepare for this game or maybe even, start, forecasting for the future, looking back at the past, resting. How'd you handle that? How'd you handle that week as far as getting ready for Springville and resting and looking ahead?
Well, the first week we actually practiced 4 days, and I gave them a 3-day weekend. We gave them Friday off, just to give them a mental break away from football. And then we came back the following week, and we did everything, similar to what we do during the regular season. And we just basically wanted to get some guys healthy. We stayed away from a lot of contact. We did more things mentally, and we tried to work on the minds in terms of getting ready for the game. And, it seemed to work out pretty good. We got guys healthy. We had some guys flying around to the football, and we were a little better focused than what we had been in the past. So I was glad to, get those 2 weeks off. It's always a good thing.
Absolutely. Whenever you do have a situation like that where you do have an extra week off, does it help you as far as helping scout the next few weeks and being able to kind of lay out practices for the next few weeks to see where you guys have done well and see where you can implement some different things?
Well, we basically just used it as a healing process. I was originally going to scout Springville, but I already had film on them, and I knew pretty much what they were going to do. So I kind of took a mental break myself, and we didn't try to plan ahead because we're not in a situation where we can look 2 or 3 games ahead. I know some teams do it, but right now we one game, one play at a time, and we gave Springville our sole focus. Our concentration was on Springville because had we lost that game, it's another whole scenario. So we basically couldn't look ahead. We wanted to win that game so we could move on to the next game and put our focus there. So we didn't even entertain any other thoughts of looking at any other teams. Basically, we wanted to focus on Springville.
Absolutely. The focus paid off with a big win, 22-3, a big win for the Anniston Bulldogs on the road. You'll see how they did it coming up next year on the Bulldog Blitz. First half highlights here next. And we're back with the Bulldog Blitz first half highlights of Anniston's game against the Springville Tigers. And Coach, we've talked about how Springville is one of the more improved teams in this region, and talk about some of the things that you want to see your team implement at the beginning part of the game.
Well, we had some goals. We didn't want to give up any pass plays over 20 yards, and as you can see, that pass play right there went for over 20. So, we had to tighten up a little bit, in which they did. I think we ended up giving up one pass over 20 yards, and cornerback and safety was a little bit cautious there because the first play we got a PI, and he was being a little cautious, and I told him he just had to play the game. You had to go ahead and play the game, and we were able to tighten back down. But overall, the defense was pretty solid. Little gap control, and we had a few problems trying to get going on offense. As you can see right there, LJ Hurd, he ran the ball pretty tough. We got down in the red zone earlier, but we missed a few assignments, and we weren't able to punch it in. And we tried to not let that affect us momentum-wise and mentally. And we just didn't punch it in. We needed to punch it in, but the defense came back, and held up pretty tight right here. As you can see, Dominique Bell right there played the screen pass extremely well, and right here we tried to do a little ISO with Hakeem Ross right there, and he made a great move and got outside, but the drive still stalled just a little bit. We came out and we wasn't quite moving it like we should have. We'd have one guy missing assignment. See right there, we kind of missed a couple of blocks on the edge right there. But LJ Steele, he ran the ball tremendously hard. And number 9 right there kind of gave us trouble on the edge pretty good bit. Right here you see Rio Dobbins makes a great block, and Tate Miller gets to the edge, and of course we try to toss it and get back to the corner again, and we put together a pretty solid drive right here, and gave the ball to Edward Montgomery, who plays linebacker, and he punched it in, and we were able to score on this drive. We really couldn't afford to come out getting in the red zone this particular time without scoring, because that does something to your mental psyche, and we basically wanted to punch it in.
Right. It really seemed like this was a game that, from an offense perspective, whenever you wanted to throw the ball, you could throw the ball. And
Right.
times you wanted to run, you could run the ball. And I feel like that's almost one of the greatest things as far as a confidence standpoint that you could do. And like you said, it was a matter of being able to punch it in and turning those long drives into points.
Well, it opens up a lot of options. Tate Miller's the type, he's not a pocket passer. He's a quarterback. He can throw the football, and he can throw it extremely well, but he has great mobility, great legs. He has great vision. And when you're running the ball as well as you can,
right,
that opened up a lot of doors for him, because we can scheme, run pass options for him, and it gives him a lot of opportunities to make big plays, which he's a big play guy.
Does it make you block any differently because he is a dual threat quarterback? How do you handle that with your offensive line, knowing that he can do both?
Well, we really don't have to block any differently. We basically tell him get a hat on a hat most of the time. We do some of the zone blocking schemes a little bit differently than we did, and we're gonna work over that next week. But really, once you get a guy, you get a guy blocked, a lot of times it can just be a shield block. He's so elusive. He knows how to pick the gaps and run the ball, and it's the main thing is if he can do it with guys unblocked, you can imagine how he can run the football if we were to get everybody blocked, correctly.
Absolutely. He's also a guy that plays defense and and also special teams. And talk about just his versatility. We'll see some of the stuff in the second half of what he was able to do on special teams, but just talk about his versatility and some of the other guys that go multiple ways, multiple positions.
Well, we can use him basically anywhere. He can play cornerback, he can play safety, he knows the defense as well as the offense, and with him being your starting quarterback, I try to only use him in situations where we have to, knock the ball down or we have to make a play. Not a big tackle, but because he's so smart and he's so athletic, in the secondary, he know how to put everybody in the right place. And, special teams, he probably got the best hands on the team, so we'll let him, do the punt returning.
Right.
And deep man on kickoff because he's so smart. He knows how to get what he needs to and get out of bounds. And, he's just so versatile. And then, of course, we got Edward Montgomery. He plays running back and linebacker.
Right.
And, we had to put him at linebacker when Quintavious Elston went down. So, we got a couple of guys that go both ways. Hakeem Ross plays wide receiving cornerback and does an excellent job.
You guys, it seemed to me, especially at the beginning of this game, really seemed fresh. You guys were able to come out. Was a lot of that due to just being able to kind of rest your legs and being able to get everything settled in?
Well, we rested, but, we actually ran now. We conditioned pretty hard, because we wanted, that's one of my mottos, we won't, in the fourth quarter, we won't give out of gas. And basically, we ran a lot, but I think what helped us a lot was, we didn't have as much contact as, ordinarily we would. I basically stayed away from contact, maybe except for 2 days, so that, and that was on separate weeks, so that, we could stay fresh, they could get their minds fresh, and
right,
they wouldn't have to worry about being sore and, just the other aspects of football that take away from you being focused on making the right plays.
Absolutely. 22-3 was your final score over at Springville. You'll see how the Anniston Bulldogs closed out that game, picked up their second straight win on the road. Meanwhile, the Anniston High School Marching Band also played on the road at Springville Friday night. It was wet and it was cool, but a great night for for the Lincoln or for the Anderson High School marching band. You'll see them coming up next. And we're back with the Bulldog Blitz. Coach Bullock, you got the ball in the second half. Talk about some of the things you want to see out of your guys in the third and fourth quarter.
Well, we wanted to tighten up a little bit on defense. I felt like we still wasn't putting enough pressure on them. And then, of course, we wanted to try to get the offense rolling. You know, we missed a couple opportunities early. And, you know, we wanted to kind of get the football to move. And the defense was a little amped up. So, you know, we were ready to go. And so we came out and we tried to throw a lot of short hitches right here to get the receiver to make a move. You know, of course, you see Hakeem Ross right here makes another great play. Now, the one aspect of the game I was extremely disappointed in, and that was our special teams, especially the punt game. We got off a pretty good punt right there, and we had a chance to pin them back pretty deep, but we didn't get good coverage, and on two other occasions, we almost got the punt blocked, and you know, that's something that we're going to put a lot of work in on next week. But you know, as I said, the defense came up and was playing pretty strong, so we were able to capitalize on the lack of missing assignments on the punt team and things like that. Got tremendous pressure. Right here, we gave up a play right there. Outside linebacker had the back coming out the backfield. We had everything covered, and he saw it. Just didn't do his assignment, and you know, we almost gave up a big play, but right here, Hakeem Ross came back again on defense, and they threw the ball up, and he went and got it. He was aggressive and went and got it. And you see L.J. Hurd right here makes a great run. He had 20 carries for over 100 yards, so you know, he made a great contribution to the team. And of course, you saw right there on the punt, Tate Miller had to pull it down and try to run with it because we missed a lot of blocking assignments. And you know, that gave Spring a good field position, and we were able to hold them 3 downs, and they kicked the field goal, which, you know, is a win for the defense, but it sort of hurt our goal because one of our goals was to not let them score, you know. So, you know, we were a little bit disappointed in letting them score right there. And, of course, Tate Miller got off a great punt right there. We got it right for a minute there, and, you know, we came back and we were kind of scrambling around right there, but the defense was swarming to the football. Right there, I think we had an opportunity to get a block, but again, you have to teach the guys how to lay out correctly for it. And as we talked about Tate Miller's versatility right here, you can see him on the punt return. He makes a great move, and he actually just walks in the end zone, you know, pretty quick, pretty elusive, and you know, we kind of had the quarterback on his heels right here running around, but you see we were in great position. We had a defender underneath and a safety over the top, so that was a great situation. And, you know, we back to the ground game, and L.J. Hurd kind of pounded up in there pretty good. Okay, right here we had a pick again. That's Bashard Harris playing center field. He kind of read the quarterback eyes, and, you know, he just picked it off and got a pick 6, walked in the end zone. He played a great game. He had probably 12 tackles as a free safety, so it's a pretty good game for him at free safety. And right here we got another interception by Rio Dobbins. You know, he was underneath. We had a bracket coverage on that. He was underneath, so you know, we just played pretty solid defensively. I kind of like the effort that they gave.
Absolutely. One of the things that I kind of found really special really in the second half of this game is Tate Miller's use on special teams, because you had him as a punter, and he puts the ball inside the 5-yard line, inside the 10-yard line, and then later that drive, he's the guy who flipped the field, ends up getting the punt return for the touchdown that really separates the game. I know you talked about how special teams will be a thing that you work on this week, but talk about the special teams, the way it played out for you guys, being able to flip the field and then use your special teams play for a touchdown.
Well, one of our goals for our team is that the special teams score a touchdown, and we hadn't scored on special teams all year, and that's unusual for us. And, we kept pressing that we needed to score on special teams. Our punt team, we hadn't had any trouble out of it during the year. This game actually was the worst game we've had as far as punt coverage and punt blocking, and but he did a great job. Tay Miller did a great job. He got the kicks off, and he actually did that after a couple of long runs. So that's a concern with him being tired a little bit. And he did a great job. He flipped the field and actually received a punt. We've been on him about letting the ball roll and not fair catching, and he did everything we asked him to do, and it paid off. He walked in the end zone.
Absolutely. You also got 3 interceptions. One went for a pick 6.
Right, and that's another goal. We try to force 5 turnovers, and we got 3 picks. And basically, we were short as far as fumble recoveries and things like that. But, I was satisfied with it.
Absolutely. The defense played well. Special teams got some big plays there as well. 22-3 is your final score over at Springville. Anderson Bulldogs winning their 2nd consecutive game. They'll look for a 3rd consecutive win coming up this week. Coach Bullock and I will break it all down right here on the Bulldog Blitz. And we're back with our closing segment here on the Bulldog Blitz. Coming up this week, it's another big region game. You have this one at home against Moody. Moody's one of those teams like Springville, like St. Clair County. They're kind of one of those new teams to the region, but now you've seen them as far as you had a game with them last year. Talk about what Moody brings to the table this year.
Well, Moody normally tries to play a power game. We played them last year, and we actually, statistical-wise, we beat them the entire game. The only stat that really mattered was the final score, and they beat us right there in the end on the score. And, we felt like we missed an opportunity there. And, we kind of got that in the back of our minds, and we're going to try to make up for it this year when we come back. Absolutely.
You did a lot of things well in that game. Like you said, you won in basically every statistical category. When you play teams like this, do you want to implement, you don't have to tell me the whole game plan, obviously, but do you want to implement a lot of the same things that you did well last week, or is it you take this team as a completely different team, this Moody team as a completely different team, and then try to X's and O from that point?
Well, they're basically the same type of team, so we're going into the game with the same frame of mind. Mm-hmm. What we want to do is play a little bit smarter. We got in a situation where we were in control of the game, and we were running the football as well as anyone could run the football. And 2 turnovers turned into 2 touchdowns within 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. And, you can't do that against good teams. And they played a little bit smarter than we did. And then we got at the end, and we still had opportunities. But, we just didn't capitalize on opportunities. So, basically, we trying not to get ourselves in that situation this year. We want to pretty much defensively go out and play a solid game, just like we did last week against Springville. And then we want to basically go from there.
Right. This is an interesting game as it comes down to Class 5A Region 6. It's one of those games where both these teams are kind of matched up there right in the middle of the standings. Mm-hmm. This is a huge game for you guys and for them as well. I know you don't want to look too far ahead, but you're sitting pretty good as far as everything relates to the playoffs.
Well, we are, but actually Moody is, they're 4-2, so, they got a couple of region wins, and then, of course, they got a couple of non-region wins. So they basically ahead of us. So, we got our backs to the wall again. It's a must-win for us. They need the game, but it doesn't hurt them as much as it hurts us. And, so we're in a situation each week where we have to win in order to stay in contention. And we have an opportunity, but, we got to win in order to stay in contention.
Absolutely. We always try to, get from you one part of the game where you feel like this team has done well. Now 5 games are in the books. You've been with this team from the beginning of the season and through, off-season workouts, through spring ball. Talk about some of the ways this team has surprised you and some of the things that you kind of counted on at the beginning of the year that are coming to fruition.
Well, we actually played defensively, like I thought we were capable of playing.
Right.
I really felt like the entire season we were able to dominate teams defensively like we are because we're so fast. We got guys that can fly to the football. Mm-hmm. But, just been a little disappointed because we hadn't been technique sound.
Right.
And then offensively, we have, probably 3 of the best backs in the region. And, we just hadn't put it all together. You know, one may have a good night, you know, but we hadn't had all three of them clicking at the same time. And we just want to put a solid game together. And even as an entire team, you know, the offense may have been clicking and the defense is off. And when the defense is clicking, the offense is a little bit off. So, you know, we basically searching for that identity where we can consistently put an offensive, defensive, and special teams, you know, all together in one and find that niche and just move on.
Absolutely. You get this game back at home. Talk about being able to have a region game in front of the home crowd.
Well, that's a great thing about it. You know, Moody's going to be a tough game, and we have them at home. So basically, we're going to try to use the fans as that extra, that 12th man, as they said, on the field, and see if we can't get them a little bit rattled and you know, just how, you know, noise factor, being in a hostile environment, and of course we playing at home. We should be pretty relaxed at home, but, you know, we just trying to use every edge we can. You know, it's a little bit tough on the road, you know, to play than it is at home, but, you know, we just want to use that home edge to try to get the advantage so we can come out with a win.
Absolutely. Coach, congratulations on the win once again. Best of luck against Moody coming up this week. Go out and support the Anniston Bulldogs in a big Class 5A Region 6 matchup against the Moody Blue Devils. As Coach said, it's a very big game as it relates to the region. So go out and support the Anniston Bulldogs. Lot Mosby Memorial Stadium Friday night, 7 p.m. A big Class 5A Region 6 game. We'll break it all down right here next week on the Bulldog Blitz.